Hey everyone, we're going to do a little garden update today. Cilantro has made its way out of the dirt. So is the parsley. I don't know if you can see it there, a little green. And the oregano, well, that's almost ready to cut again. I'll do a little video on that. There's some basil. We cut some of that yesterday and it'll regrow rather quickly. Here's the dill. We cut some of that yesterday. Can't even tell we cut it. And then there's some dill and chives. I'll do a video on cutting dill as well and what we do with it. And there's some blueberries. Not very blue yet, but they're coming. And then we've got strawberries. We just have strawberries everywhere. I think I gotta have one, maybe two. But I come out here every day and I pick 8-10 strawberries, sometimes twice a day. Got garlic. I didn't get as much garlic as I thought I would. It's doing pretty good, but I wish I had more. I'm gonna do a lot better job planting garlic this fall. I've actually never planted it in the fall. I usually plant it very early in the spring, like in March. But you're supposed to plant it in the fall. Hardneck garlic, which survives better here in cold temps. Here's onions, and they are doing great. Lettuce, also doing great. Kale, looking good. We've been picking the lettuce. I'm about to start picking kale. Carrots have taken off. I like it. Here we have broccoli. Broccoli's doing good. And these are what I like to call rogue tomato plants. I buy organic heirloom seeds. So if any seed is left over the next season, there's a rogue tomato too, they will regrow. And those are basically wild heirloom organic tomato plants that are regrowing. Brussels sprouts, cabbage. Cabbage I had to replant, and there's some baby cabbage coming up. This is rutabaga. Rutabaga is nothing but turnip. Most people would call it purple top turnip, but there is a difference. Purple top turnip tastes more like a radish, and rutabaga is not as strong. Here's the peas, and as you can see, they're all flowering, and the bees that the Miriams gave us have been out here pollinating like crazy. Here's some spinach. Spinach I had to replant. I always have a hard time growing spinach. I'll have to open up comments on this video and maybe somebody can tell me how they get spinach to grow. There is jalapeno peppers in here, though those did not do very good for me either. There's one right there, little jalapeno pepper. And there's a few. I mean, here's another one. I replanted them and they're just not doing that great. There's more down the other end of the garden. The peppers seem to like the other end of the garden. Pretty much anything that's green and leafy likes this end of the garden. These are regular bell peppers, and there's one there. There's one right next to it too. I can see them down the row. This was completely weeded just a few days ago, and you can see the weeds have come back. These are banana peppers, and there's some in here too. I can see them all the way down the row. It would be hard to see, but like here's one right there. And things start off slow in June, and then they go crazy in July and August. This is a whole row of cherry tomatoes. They're all coming up. The beans are looking good. These are I say store-bought, not really store-bought. They're organic, heirloom cherry tomatoes that we bought from Hillside Botanicals, which is right down the road from us. And there's peppers that we got from them, both regular bell peppers and jalapeno peppers. And they're flowering. There's a little flower in there. And then this green leafy stuff is a combination of cabbage, broccoli, and Brussels sprouts that we also got from Hillside Botanicals. And here's the corn. Corn's looking good, knee-high by the 4th of July. I'm short, but we're there. And it's not July 4th yet. And then the sweet potatoes, which I've never grown sweet potatoes before, but we're going to try it, see what happens. They're more of a southern plant, but we're gonna see if we can get them to grow up here in the north. And that's the main garden, which is right behind the house and behind the barn. And I'll take you out to the 2 potato plots. First potato plot has not only potatoes, but all the squash. And I'll shoot a video of that. And then the other potato plot is just potatoes. And I'll put this up this evening so everybody can see what's going on with the garden. Nothing how-to in this one, just showing off a little. But I'll probably open the comments up on this. If somebody can tell me how to get spinach to grow better, I'll take your advice. And if anybody has any other comments, you can let me know. Here's our first potato patch. Potato plants are doing great. I string trimmed around them the other day just to give them a little breathing room. Out here it's so big I don't have a lot of time to weed this, but here's cucumbers. Baby cukes coming up. There's one that's a little better. Oh, these are a little older, even though they're all planted at the same time. And then we have zucchini. And these are a different pumpkin. They're not the big pumpkins. They're cooking pumpkins. They're a sweet pumpkin. And those 2 first mounds are doing really good. And then here's some more pumpkin that's a lot smaller. Oh, this mound of yellow squash finally came up. I had a bare mound, so I put some more yellow in there. This is buttercup. These are all buttercup. We like buttercup. Buttercup is a good, sweet squash. All of this is from seed. Here's more buttercup. And up here we have Hubbard. I love Hubbard. Not everybody does, though. It's not quite as sweet as the buttercup. These Hubbards are doing really good. Seems like this side of the garden, for some reason, does better than the other side. And then here's butternut. Most people know what butternut is. It's that tan, longer squash that a lot of people like. And that's your squash and first potato plot update. And here's potato patch number 2. We planted this like, I don't know, 2 weeks after the first patch. I had so many leftover seed potatoes that I'm like, might as well put them in the ground. Can't hurt to have more food. And I went downstairs and I found I still had another crate of seed potatoes, which I'm probably just going to have to, at this point, throw out in the woods, and they'll grow, maybe. But you can never have enough potatoes because they're a good staple. They last throughout the entire winter. Here, deer have been in here. That is a white-tailed deer track. So we like the potatoes. We grow all kinds of different squash. I do grow some yellow and zucchini, even though, we don't save a lot. We do freeze some. This year I'm going to can. But we do grow a lot of winter squash, because the winter squash lasts for months down the basement. It gives me time to pull the skins off them a little at a time. And I used to freeze them. This year I actually did start canning last year, and I'm going to can most of them. I think things just last longer and you really, here I am. How you doing, everybody? You really want to preserve food without electricity. Not that we're going to be without electricity anytime soon, I hope. But in the winter here in Vermont, we do lose power for 3-4 days at a time when we get big storms. And you can see the background there. I got this long strip of open field that I rotate the garden in. I move it around, goes to different places after a couple of years. But in fact, we had potatoes in the grass plot right in front of me, which I'll switch the camera around again in a few minutes, and you can see it's all nice grasses now. Rotating and mowing also helps keep the chervil out, which is a nasty invasive species that we have here. But back to canning. I want to do more canning of everything: meats, vegetables, you name it, whatever we grow, because canning will preserve for several years. You don't need electricity. If you use a pressure canner here, 11 pounds for 90 minutes, you can't go wrong. And your food will last a long time. When you open it up, it'll taste really good. That grass patch right there in front of us, that was potatoes last year, and it's coming up as nice grass that you could hay if you wanted to. And that's how the rest of the field is too. Beyond these potatoes, there's a mixture of ryegrass, white clover, red clover, and this is what ryegrass looks like. Here's its seeds. It's heading out, which I wanted, so it'll reseed. Here's some white clover. You can see lots of white clover everywhere, which is one of my go-tos when I plant seeds. Here's some red clover. You got to take care of the ground. You got to work it. You got to replant it, plant it with good stuff. There's also orchard grass out here, brome grass. And every so often I find some Timothy grass out here. Not a lot, but it's here. And down there, I don't know if you can see. You can probably zoom it in. There we go. That's the Miriam's bees. And we thank God for the Miriams. They bring us bees every year, and they pollinate everything around here. And the bees make them income. They love doing it. That's their business. And we're just blessed to know them. And I hope they're blessed by us and letting the bees be here. And I hope they get lots of clover honey and other types of honey out of the bees that are put here.